You've heard of Easy Rider? Well, this is Hard Driving. Hard Driving was an arcade game by Atari. Incredibly expensive arcade game for the time, about $10,000. Atari were considering making it for quite a while before they decided that people would actually buy a $10,000 arcade machine, a sit-down cabinet. And they sold about 3,500 of them, I think, from memory of having looked at Wikipedia about half an hour ago. Domark got the license for the home versions because, of course, they had the license for the Atari arcade games, such as Clax and other games. And where better to start than an Atari system, and this is the Atari ST version. Hard Driving being the first arcade game, the first game to be accurately modelled on a real car, so it would handle like the real thing, and to be based in a 3D world where you could do things like turn around 360 degrees and do all these stunts and have replays of what you do. The arcade game was very high powered, so it'd be interesting to see how this ports down to the 68,000 and of course the Z18 6502 systems as well. So off we go. We've selected automatic. And it's looking very close to the arcade game from my memory, certainly having played this in the arcade at Clarence Pier itself, so I pressed space by mistake. I was seeing if, like the Amstrad version, it had an option to centre the steering by pressing space, and it doesn't. The control method is mouse. It takes a little bit of getting used to, especially since you can quite often find that you can see a little bar on top of the dashboard there. That tells you where the steering position is. And if you're not careful, when you start the game, you can find the steering position is all the way over to the left. So you start accelerating and you just turn left and go straight off the circuit. And there's the barn with the famous... Oh! That went wrong. Can't hit me. I was going to say there's the barn with the cow that you can run over that goes moo, certainly in the arcade version. It's very early 3D, so it's not unusual to see bits of the 3D scenery disappearing. Down the bank we go. Off the road. Get back on. Just fast forwarded it here. Over the bridge. And yes, I have had a couple of attempts at that already, as you can judge by the clock, but you don't really want to see me keep on crashing. Round the corner. Alright, 33 seconds to do this. Oh, swerving around. This is a loop the loop. Oh, something's hit. A lorry on a loop the loop. It's stretching credulity that a car can go around the loop anyway, like one of those toys you had when you were a kid and you had the car and you let it go and it went around the loop. But oh, bottom of the scenery's disappeared there. But to have a lorry going around it. The thing about the loop is you've got to get the speed right. Well, there's the lorry. He survived the crash. I haven't. I've got 19 seconds to go, but actually this clock isn't counting down in seconds as it would in the arcade. It's much slower. Right, we're round. Are we? Oh, crap. Oh. 12 seconds. I'm not going to make this, am I? 11 seconds. There's a checkpoint just beyond the loop. If I can get to that, then I get an Oh, I did put out... Ugh. I come off the side? I don't know. The road's disappeared. It's... Oh, it says I've passed the loop. Right, okay, so let's start it. All right, can I do this? Foot down. Over the bridge. And there's the checkpoint. Can I make it in 4 seconds or whatever equates for 4 seconds in this game? Yes, I have. Right. Extra time. Cashback. Up we go. We're going to have the big banking section now, like a Scalextrics. Got to go around there. And the speeds on the side of the road are to help you. So to get the speed right. Because if you go too fast on some of these stunts, as I am now, they can be a little bit difficult to navigate. In fact, the loop, if you don't go minimum speed, you come crashing off. Oh. If you go off-road, you get an off-road warning. If you're off-road for more than 10 seconds or 10 game seconds, you get reset back onto the road. It basically counted it as a crash. Right, 25 seconds, got to get back to the start-finish line. Nice turn of speed here. This is a standard Atari ST 520 STFM with half a mega memory, and this is the standard way the game would have appeared. On an Amiga, which I'm not going to show because my Amiga is accelerated and therefore it won't run at a proper speed, the game is pretty much the same. On a 500, it's a little bit slower than an ST. On a 1200, it's quite good actually, quite nice and smooth. Right, so I've got past the start-finish line. I'm going to try the speed track now. There's two tracks in the game. The stunt track where we turned right last time, we're just up there, you can go right, and the speed track that's straight ahead. If you go around the speed track in under 1 minute 35 seconds, you get to race the Phantom Photon in a one-on-one race. You can't crash or have any off-road time if you do that, but you qualify for that race. So let's see if we can do that. I don't have as much time as you usually would when you start the game because I've just been around the stunt track, so I don't expect to be able to finish this lap. Bridge should be coming up. There we go, the bridge just... Oh dear, people today talk about draw distances and frame rates. Oh, kids, you don't know you're born. Alright, so we go past the... under the bridge. I've just folded this on, and it's the hacker, the alien, who I'm going to be racing from the Pompey Pirates, because this is a hacked version of the game. Right, so no crashing, only 10 seconds off-road if I win. Future challenges will race you. Oh, that's a nice little zoom into the car there. And off we go. Now, memory says we go around the speed track, because of course that's the track you qualify on. Slightly see-through graphics there. See the speed signs through the Phantom Photo. Oh, it's right. We're going around the stunt track. Seems to have caught in by surprise as well. Oh well, this must be how it's supposed to be. My memory must be cheating there. Right, so down the ramp we go. Got to be careful not to crash and not to crash into him. Right, past. Here we go. Right, foot down. Up the bridge. Oh, hang on, my approach isn't quite right. Whoa, overcorrection. This is going to go horribly, horribly wrong. Oh, I'm back again. Oh, I've crashed into it. Oh, no. I've been disqualified. How did he get ahead of me? And why is he parked at the top of the ramp? He was behind me when I went up to the bridge. Oh, dear. Over the Commodore 64. Going to do the same thing again. Automatic. Don't really want to be doing manual with the joystick. Monochrome graphics here. Whoa, ho, ho. Apparently I'm doing 100 miles an hour. What is coming towards me? Whoa, I had to, at the start of the game, select if I wanted speed or stunt. So there's no option to drive around the track in terms of just selecting the track as you drive, as with the ST version. Oh, this handling is horrific. All those cars are going to crash into me, and then the game massively speeds up. You don't have the ramp going down when you get past the barn. The 3D perspective is utterly weird, and there's things missing. Oh, and the frame rate is just... I can't describe it. It just does not... This perspective is completely out. The handling is completely out. There are things missing. It handles abysmally. I should be coming up to the bridge. Right, is there a bridge coming up? It's trying to get straight. You're going fast and you're turning, and it takes ages to turn, and there's a complete lack of any joined up handling here. Up the bridge we go. Oh, I'm off the bridge. What? I've crashed. Any chance of a no replays. The first time I thought I'd accidentally press 5 and just skip the replay. This time I've found there actually is no replay. Right, up the ramp. Whoa, big jump when there's nothing to draw. And, oh, 100 miles an hour. Those cars coming towards you look so weird and they're so close. What's the right round? There's the little kind of gas station that's by the side of the road. Coming up to the loop. The loop, is that going to be in it? Loop going to be here. Straightening up. Oh, massive corner there. Oh, it's horrible. This game wasn't released on its... Oh, the loop goes from being very... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Can I get on the loop? Oh. Driving on ice, but with massive speed variations. Oh, no, I've crashed. It's dumped me back here again. There's a sense of speed as it comes towards you, and then it slows down when it gets really close. Oh, this game was only released on a compilation, and even Domark didn't have the nerve to release this as a standalone full-price game. Zap reviewed it and gave it about 20%, which I think is exceedingly generous. It doesn't work on any level. Oh, can I get over this loop? The loop? Do I care? Slowed it. I just doing 100 miles an hour now, and speed variations. One thing I didn't say about the ST version is it can be very slow braking on that version, which is a bit frustrating. But this is, and we try again, and it's not going to work this time, is it? I'm going to get up there. I'm going to go. Oh, whoa! 60 miles an hour. We're going to get over there. Now I'm going to fly off the side. What's going to happen? Will we make it? Do we care? Oh, down we come. Yeah! I can't be bothered anymore. This game's an insult to gamers everywhere. I forwarded it onto the speed track now, just so you can see that we went under the bridge there. Oh, this is just terrible. It's just awful. It doesn't work on any level. And the thing was, after this, Domark were thinking of converting race driving to the Commodore 64. I mean, oh, what were they thinking? I mean, they abandoned the idea, but they had a programmer working on it. Apparently the programmer was going to use the perspective we saw on the ST for the replays rather than actually use full 3D, but even that on a 6502 processor was never going to work. Moving over to the Spectrum with the Z80 processor, which is, well, we all know this Spectrum and Amstrad are a little bit better at 3D games than the Commodore 64, so hopefully this will be a bit better. And we can centre the steering, and we can select drive on left or right, and hopefully we're going to have the full setup where we can actually, hopefully with the stunt track and the speed track being there together rather than me having to select them at start. True 3D graphics? We'll see. Right, select auto. Trying to work out which key it wants me to press to start. Right, turn the key to start. Well, we've got better frame rate for a start here. Well, this is quite impressive. Right, are we going to get the full... The track's going to split off. Got a floating barn up on the right-hand side there. Yes, we've got... It's a monochrome version of the ST version and the arcade version. And these graphics work really well. There's only two colours going on. Oh, I've fallen for it again. That card that comes up every time. Oh, we've got replays. Ah. There you go, Specky owners. There's something for you to gloat over your Commodore 64 rivals at. Right, no cow in view though. 3D so much better here. The barn looks like a real barn. I'm just getting the hang of these controls after having to use a mouse on the ST and then the abysmal C64 version. Down the ramp. You know, despite the fact there's only two colours, black and greeny blue, or cayenne colour I think it is, on screen, it's proper 3D. Look, I've just gone. Look at that. I just crashed there, but I went careering over the speed track. There you go, it's there. It's the full speed tracks there, so it's a proper 3D world here on the Spectrum. This is programmed by Binary Design, who of course gave us lots of games, mainly budget games actually. And this is really well. The scenery disappears from time to time, but it's really impressive. You actually feel like you're driving the car. The car reacts as you'd expect it to, so if you go too fast it skids. I'm off-road, I'm just getting the hang of this. Around the corner, slows down a bit when the more complex scenery objects come up, like the loop here. There's no getting away from that. Am I going to crash? Am I going to crash? Am I going to be round? Oh, I made it. No, I crashed. Crashed as I came down. Yeah, the replay really doesn't work on the loop there. But, you know, fair play for them to trying to do it on a Spectrum. Does this work on a 48K? I'm playing this on a 128K. I'll flash up if it does work on a 48K. If this works on a 48K, I'll be really... that'd be a massive achievement. We can do this on a 3.5 megahertz Z80 with 128K of RAM. Yes, the frame rate's not very good, but it's hard driving. Forwarded it on, going through the speed track just so we can drive under the bridge we saw earlier. And there we go, lovely scenery. A good turn of speed there as things go past. It's not the equivalent of the ST version, but for what it is, it's absolutely brilliant. Now I'm going to play the Amstrad version, and I bought my version of this game in W.H. Smith's in Boscombe in the early 90s. Maybe in 89 actually, or 90. But I bought it in Boscombe, W.H. Smith's, and I bought Pac-Mania at the same time, which was discounted to $4.99. A special promotional pack sticker it had on the case, so presumably Grand Slam wanted to shift a few copies. So this is the 128K version. The tape version is 64K only, regardless on if you've got 128K memory or not, which means no music and no sound effects. Mode 0 graphics here. Well, it's actually split mode here on the menu screen, which is really nice, and we're entirely mode 1 now. I've got a little glitch as we switched over. Looking like the Spectrum version. And off we go. Nicer dashboard than the Specky version, but lower frame rate on the main display. But otherwise, it's not that much slower, it has to be said. It is a Specky converted display. You can notice there's gaps at the left and right hand side. It's running at Specky resolution here on the Amstrad. So I'm going to try the stunt track again. I should be able to do this on the Amstrad because I've played this a fair bit. Right, I've gone past that car this time. One trick I used to do with my mate was one of us would steer and the other one would accelerate and brake, which kind of gave you a bit more coherence when you were doing it. It just made it easier. We could playing the game like that, we could drive around this game all day long without the time we're ever running out, to the point where we were bored, because one of us would steer and would have press the space button to centre the steering, which is quite useful because it stops you overshooting, because with these lower frame rates as well, the game's a little bit slower to react. I'm struggling a little bit up here, up the bridge. Graphics disappearing in the same place as the Specky version. Over we go. Down we go. And really, there's not a lot to say after we've looked at the Spectrum version. It is the Spectrum version at a slightly slower frame rate because the CPC's more complex display. The CPC's display, of course, taking up 16K of RAM, which is more than the Spectrum's display does, and therefore the Z80 CPU has more to process when it's throwing all these polygons around. Looking over these versions, do the home versions stack up to what the arcade version offered? Well, the arcade version of Hard Drivin was the world's first properly simulated car game in a arcade cabinet. It was incredibly expensive, and it was a really good game to play, to sit down, especially for kids who weren't able to drive at that stage. It was the closest thing you got to real driving, or certainly until I went on the virtual reality machines at the Trocadero a few years later. We didn't look at the Amiga version, but the ST version is ostensibly the same. It's a really faithful port of the arcade within the constraints of a 16-bit home micro. Only criticism is it's a little bit easy. I think it's easier than the arcade version, and the countdown clock seems to be a little bit slow, which again makes it easier because you can drive around all day. I had to purposely pull over going around the track so I could race the Phantom Photon car, because otherwise I would have just been going around all day with the clock not running down. Looking at the 8-bit versions, the Commodore 64 version is an absolute and total disaster. It's appalling. It just doesn't work on any level at all. I'm sure they could have done a slightly better job on that, but it just does not work. It's slow, the 3D is absolutely abysmal, the perspective is wrong, the frame rate is abysmal. You can see why they didn't release it at full price, and frankly they were cheeky sticking it out on a compilation and later doing a budget release. It's absolutely awful, even at $3.99. Oh. Spectrum and Amstrad versions, well, they're ostensibly the same. The Spectrum version has a better frame rate, so it's probably the version to go for. But if you've got an Amstrad, you can still play it and get a pretty good version of Hard Drivin. It's a full 3D world in your 8-bit micro, even if the frame rate does render it a little bit slow.